Okay, so we're just buying here on pound dollar now, just before London Open. Here's our market structure, and as you can see, we've got a sideways consolidation there, and we're looking to buy straight up from here. So as you can see, we've had this accumulation period, and we can identify this by this sideways consolidation at the lows. So we put a rectangle on there. This is sort of where we're seeing our consolidation. And if we take those off, we can see clearly that we're primed for a push up. So we've rejected the low and we're looking to buy right here. This is what we're expecting, price to go straight up. Okay, so this is my plan. I'm long right now, already bought a number of positions and we'll be adding to that. So let's buy some more here. Let's just take down our lot size, one standard lot. Okay, so there's a number of positions. We're long right at this point, and here are our live entries. Okay, so we're live now. We've already got long positions from the end of last week because we've been waiting for this strong push up, believing that this was consolidating at the lows. So here's our entries right now, and we're just going to move our stops a little bit lower, give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, and just keep our stops protected by the pivot as well as the 15-minute moving average, 200 moving average on the 15-minute chart. We're going to break out of this sideways pattern and push higher very, very quickly. So I'm believing that it's going to be a rapid move. As you can see, my take profits are quite high. Now these are not arbitrary positions. There's a resistance zone on the left hand side, and we're going to move them all up and take them all out. So let's just put them all up in that zone there. And okay, so here's a trend line that we're just breaking now on the 5-minute chart. We're trading above the moving average, and I'm looking, it's possible we move down, hit the pivot, and then come and break back up. That's one option. Or we actually just go straight up from here. I believe that's what we're going to do. And so let's wait for this to play out. I believe it's going to be a fast move, and we're going to make good money in this trade. This isn't, there we go. So there's our move up, our initial move up so far. We're going to start taking out a couple of these positions. Oops. Okay, here's our deal map. Let's close some of these positions out now. All right, there we go. This is to lock in profit on our trade in order to get into a risk-free trade. And there we go, there's our closing positions, just over 50 pips to begin with. So profit's now locked in, and let's wait for the rest of the trades to run out. These are our current open positions. And yeah, it looks like we're moving up strongly. And there we go, there's our big push up. So now we're moving up really nicely. We're going to take out a few more positions, 37 pips. There we go, let's take out some of those. We'll take that one too. And we're going to move our last stop up to 9 pips. And we're looking up to the highs. Okay, so this is where we're looking for much higher. We're not sure it's going to get there. These are our current open positions on the pound dollar, all in good money. And here's our history from today. So we've now made an extra 100 pips. Okay, so here's the final outcome of our trade. If we go back and look, we can see that this was our trend line break. Our initial entry was right at the break of that trend line, and we understand we were going to get a big push up because of market structure. So price came out, we took some profit there in the first zone. We took out some profit up here, and we expect the price to come up and test these highs. Now the reason for that is if we actually go out to a 1 hour chart, there was our previously defined resistance up here. Notice this huge drop, okay, from that point. And so that's where we believe the price was going to pause again. And so if we just zoom in, we actually see our deal map on this trade. Okay, so initial position was taken out at 9 pips, and then we took out some more here, plus 37 pips. We then shorted down there from 15 pips, and then we took the last long positions out at 115 pips right at the high. And then on Friday, just before the close, price absolutely fell off a cliff, and I closed the last profit, the last position out for break even. Okay, so that was a wise decision. There we go, break even, 2 pips, loss of $188. So almost break even. But as you can see, we made up for that with all of these other positions here. So with this strong trend, why did I short just there? Why was there an opportunity? As you can see, I took out 15 pips, but we could have taken out a lot more. It actually went down 40 pips. So let's just have a look and see, how did I have the confidence to short at that region? Now if we go out to a 30-minute chart, or maybe a 1-hour chart, let's just have a look. And so what we can see is that price clearly broke above this first resistance here. Now this was the high of last week. As you can see, we came up to that level very strongly. Now what we can actually do is, here it is here, if we just check on, if we put an indicator on there, so what indicator can we put? Let's have a look at our pivots. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, we rejected off the pivot, the R1, and it coincided with this previous high of the week of the last week. And so often when we get a alignment of pivot points with key levels, we often get a reversal. And so as you can see, I actually shorted the very top of that. In fact, if we just move in on a 5-minute chart, come across, let's put the deal map on. As you can see, I shorted the very top of that, and it goes down for 15 pips. So with that sort of situation, that allows us to get a very tight stop. So we can actually put a stop 5 to 6 pips above the high of the pivot when it aligns with the key level, and then we can actually get a good drop on that. And now notice when price came down, it rejected the 200 moving average. That's always a great place to take profit. However, when we look at the higher time frames, because we had such a strong consolidation level, it was actually a possibility that we were going to run a lot further. So interestingly enough, on a 4-hour chart, we rejected the 200 moving average to the pip, and as well as that, we rejected that key level. So we've reversed down very strongly, which is an interesting scenario. Probably we're going to come down for the next couple of weeks unless we get some sort of rejection of these bottom levels here. So all in all, it was an incredible trade. Here's our results from that trade. 37s, there's the 9s, sorry, the 15s there. We took out some 9s as well. So there's the 9s from that day we took out. We took out the 37s, then we took out those 15s, those 15s, the short positions. And then we took the ones at the high, and then we took the ones out from the previous week at 155 and 115. So amazing week last week, and it was because we could understand the market structure here. Let's briefly go over it again and have a look and see how this sets up. Now if we zoom out a little bit, in fact I've just misplaced my mouse. I went on holiday and misplaced my mouse, so I'm just trading off my touchpad at the moment. This sideways consolidation at a key low is a really interesting point, because once we get this spike low on the left hand side here, it indicates the beginning of a reversal of the trend in the near term. Notice we get these continuous spikes to the low with a lot of buying every time. That indicates that at this point down here, there are no willing sellers and there are more buyers than sellers. Then we get these 2 huge green candles on the right hand side, which indicate a final rejection of this bottom layer level. And that's why I traded the first pullback, which was right here on the break of that trend line, with that consolidation. So my first entry, on my final entry, was on a break of that trend line there. So when you can understand and identify that the market is bottoming out, then you can start to slowly establish long positions. So my first long positions were back here. I was in here long again, then long in here, and then long in here. And it allowed me, once we get a very, very strong push up, to take out a lot of that profit very, very quickly. So awesome trade for the week. Let's see what turns up this week. I think I'll be looking short, but let's come back and see what happens next.